what are the 5 keys to the law? Now, other people might disagree. Some people might agree with me on this. Incident, unfortunately, this is cutting off part of it, so I'm going to have to get this adjusted. But what the slide says is sue everyone. And it says a plaintiff's lawyer needs to sue everyone possibly related to the incident to avoid being sued for malpractice. I said this is available online, so I'm sorry that I cut it off here. If I am a plaintiff's lawyer and I have a case, let's say it is with a baseball stadium, and someone gets hit by, let's say, a foul ball. I'm going to be suing the stadium. I'm going to be suing the team. I'm going to be suing each one of the teams that was playing or the one that was batting. I'm going to sue probably the insurance adjuster if they had come by and said the facility was safe. I might sue the city and name the city as a defendant as well, that they gave occupancy permit when it was a dangerous location. I might sue all these different people just so I don't get sued myself for malpractice. Because if I could get one of these parties to agree or to settle, even if they aren't necessarily liable, then I'm doing my job. If, on the other hand, one of them can come back, let's say the architect, and I've sued the architect, and they come back and say, look, you know what, we designed this initially, but there was a secondary architectural firm that came in and revised the facility, so we didn't do anything after that initial design. It's a new company. If they prove that to me, that they aren't responsible at all, I have to remove them from the case. But I'd rather have them prove it to me, and then I can dismiss them from the case. Then maybe another person will point a finger saying, hey, look, it was that initial design people that screwed it up. And you know what, because you didn't sue them, now you can't get any money from them. That's why I'm going to sue everyone if I'm a plaintiff's lawyer, because otherwise my client can come back to me and say, you could have made me money, and you didn't do it. So it doesn't mean that everyone did something wrong. It probably is that the plaintiff's attorney is trying to cover their derriere, which is a fancy French word for the behind, for those that are wondering what derriere is. And so this is something that people do in order to protect themselves. So you might get sued in a case, you say, I didn't do anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. What it means is that someone's trying to protect themselves by suing as many people as possible. This is expect the unexpected. Crazy things will happen that you do not expect or anticipate, even if you think you have planned for everything. So you're going to be saying, look at, you know what, I have every base covered. No, you don't. And it could be the weirdest thing. I have an example. Me of a case where one of my friends, and I was the general counsel for the facility, owned a facility down south, which was a softball facility. And they had these little cement, little pathways that went down to various fields. And they used to take their carts and drive them there to bring the kegs to the various softball fields, because they used to have people drinking while playing softball, you know, all-American tradition. And so what happened was, he was watching from his window, and he saw someone who was in a wheelchair with a friend, and the friend was bringing them down and pushing them nicely. And then all of a sudden the friend, there was a wall for some outhouses, the friend went whoosh, whoosh, and pushed the person in the wheelchair. The person went screaming down, hit the wall, flew everywhere. The wheelchair went flying one direction, he went flying another. The guy who pushed him, dude, that was hilarious. And lift him back up, put him in the wheelchair, and then he kept going. Now, how do you prevent someone from doing something like that? You know, you could put up signs. If you're pushing someone in a wheelchair, please do not, and then have a sign with a circle and a line going through it of pushing someone and letting go of a wheelchair. Will that make a difference? They think someone who's going to do that is actually going to watch that sign and go, oh, I'm going to change my mind. I'm not going to push my friend now. No. You got to expect that this will never happen here. And just take a look at what happened with the Boston Marathon just a number of months ago. Now, look at that and say, would that happen? We've been saying for years that it's going to be happening in America. We're just surprised that it happened in that context. But that was a very smart decision by the terrorists because it's an open area versus trying to bring something into a stadium, which is going to be much more difficult. So that's going to change how we anticipate and prepare for events from now on. You've got to expect the unexpected. There's no guarantee of justice. Juries are made up of people with issues and bias, and jurors vote in a manner that could be completely inconsistent with justice. So this whole idea of Lady Liberty with a scale is wrong. It's normally who has the most money, can you get the best attorneys, and will those attorneys get you off? And I've seen, top level attorneys, when you see them in action, it's like seeing a professional athlete who is so good at their profession that you are just amazed at their ability and the quality. And there are attorneys that are just phenomenal like that. It doesn't matter what the facts are of the case. And when I was an attorney, they sent us to acting classes. Why? If the facts aren't good, you act in a way that makes it seem like you have the best damn facts in the world. And portray the other people as horrible, bad, vile people, whatever it is, just to get your point across. I mean, it's like acting. And it's the funniest thing when you go in and you're in court proceedings and you're antagonistic, you're at each other's throats, and when the attorneys walk out, hey, Bob, want to go and have a beer? Let's go out and have lunch. Because you can turn it on and off because it's acting. And that's what you're trying to do is show to your clients that you're a bulldog when necessary. Try not to be a bully in front of the jurors because that's looked at negatively. But try to be a little bit vulnerable. Try to be consistent with your actions and your words and things like that. That's what jurors like to see. Document, document, document. Well, some attorneys do not recommend documenting. It looks better for a sport facility when they document what they have done to prove they acted reasonably. That's what that slide is basically saying. So a lot of attorneys don't document anything, especially if you do something wrong. We don't want any proof of that. I'm the other opinion. I'm saying document everything. Because if you don't document it, I'm going to come back and say, why didn't you document this? We call it the ka-ching the moment. That's the cash register. That if I can get you to say, you know what, our attorney told us that we shouldn't document. Well, the other side's going to object to that immediately, saying, that's attorney-client protected privilege, but it's going to come out. It's going to be out there where I'm going to be able to say, well, okay, you didn't do this. For whatever reason, your attorney told you not to do it. Fine. What is the industry standard? And I'll be able to get an expert witness to probably come in and say, look, you know what? It's smart for them, and the industry best practice is for them to document it. If they didn't document it, they probably violated industry standard. Then someone's going to be in trouble. That's when you get the ka-ching moment of the cash register, because now you have a situation where you cannot prove what you did. And it's just, oh, well, I think we did this, or I think we did that. That doesn't look good in front of a jury. I want to have that proof. I want proof that says, we did this on this day. We did this kind of training, or we did this inspection of the facility, and we did not find anything. Take a look at it, for example, if you've ever been to a bathroom at like a restaurant or something, where they have a little chart there where people mark off when was the last time it was cleaned, and every 15 minutes they come in there and they mark off, yes, we cleaned it. That's for that purpose. So if someone sues the facility, let's say it's a restaurant, and said, I slipped on the floor and it was wet. You say, well, they were here 5 minutes beforehand and there wasn't any water on the ground. That's going to go very well in front of a jury because you're taking steps to try to prevent it. You're not supposed to have a 100% safe facility. You're supposed to have a reasonably safe facility, and if you can prove that you're taking steps to make it safe, that's all you need. And the last one, and that's so sad, someone do that to a kitty cat, you know. is that there's a constitutional right to be an idiot. And people will do the stupidest and most dangerous acts because they're allowed to by law. So, you say, they're such an idiot. Why do they do that? They have the right to do that. So some of the things that you're going to see and read about, and you're like, that's crazy. How could they? You have the right to do crazy things. So that's one of the things that we try to make sure people understand and appreciate about laws, that there's these 5 elements to the law. Any questions?